No hurry. Somebody,
Here we go.
I kind of wish it,
Okay, all right.
just because I want to make sure I'm up to par. You know what I mean?
All right, yep.
And no, hurry. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
Denise, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Thank you.
Call this meeting to order. This is the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. It's Monday, November 6th, 2023. The time is 9:02. Let's open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Ed. Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. King. Here. Ms. Reagan.
Present.
Mr. Brooke. Here. Ms. Smith.
Very good, thank you. We'll go to the IU Health Master Service Agreement. Are we ready to take that off the table?
Yes, I've read it, I've taken a look at it, it's similar to what we've done in the past, and so, I've had a chance to review it all.
Make a motion, we remove it from the table.
Second.
A motion to remove that agreement from the table in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King. Yes. Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
I do want to say something about the clinic. The clinic location is moving. I'm sure you guys have got literature on that, but it's moving down to, I don't know the address yet, down there where Ross's used to be in the imaging center. And when you walk into the imaging center, we've got the whole left side. And we're going to be open from 6 to 6. And that is for employees. And then it's going to be act as an emergency care from 6 o'clock till 8, I think. So it'll save people from going to the emergency room, that we're gonna treat it as an,
And I believe you said Saturday and Sunday.
and Saturday and Sunday, yes. I don't have my hours right in front of me, but yeah, it's gonna be a great thing. But this is gonna happen December 10th. We're hoping to get everything moved over there by December 10th and open up. It is one White River, yeah.
Yeah, White River Boulevard.
I just don't know the correct address.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is that part of this agreement?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
And I mean, I'll give this to Denise, but it shows everything in there, what we're gonna be offering too.
Okay.
I move we adopt as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the agreement. A second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King. Yes. Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for the commissioner meeting, October 30th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King. Yes. Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Next, we go to contracts and agreements for approval. We have the truck lease agreement.
Yeah, you guys approved that like on the October 2nd meeting. We have the paperwork. I think you have it, John.
Carrie has
Or
all the
Carrie's
paperwork.
got it for you guys to sign, but that's all we need. Everything was been approved.
October 2nd, Tommy presented a request to enter into a lease for 3 tandem trucks starting in, I think payments start in June, or the trucks come in June, to lease these 3 trucks. We have all the paperwork. Carrie sent me the paperwork. I've taken a look at it. It's all in order.
All we should have to do is Shannon sign it.
All we have to do is, for you guys to approve it. You approved the concept, but now we have the written agreement to approve.
Just for the record, let's enter the total. $882,189.90 for 10 years, for the record.
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
We have a motion to approve this lease agreement and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King. Yes. Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Denise, Carrie has all of the documents that she'll bring up after the meeting for them
Okay.
to sign, okay?
Okay, thank you. On the second page.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy.
Last page.
All right, we have no ordinances. We'll move to resolutions. Resolution number 2023-24, resolution approving issuance of a Park One bond.
Hi, Commissioners. Good morning. Brad Bookout, representing the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission this morning. Before you are 2 resolutions. The first one, the issuance of a bond for Park One. The second one is approving the Plan Commission order relating to the bond. The Plan Commission approved the issuance of the bond. This is for the second entrance into Park One. we have requests and I have support letters here with me today. I believe you've seen these from Mersix, Smyrna Ready Mix Concrete, Muncie Power Products, Save-A-Lot Foods, Mike Lunsford, and also All Steel Carports and Dana Corporation are also in support. The DCRC has approved this to proceed, and we're here to ask for your support today.
This also has received the approval of the Yorktown Town Board.
Correct.
What
Make a
road,
mo-
what roads it go in on?
It would connect, it would be a new road that would connect in front of Dana Corporation into Park One, immediately across the street from All Steel Carports, which is now North Edge Steel.
And NDOT approved it, and it's,
Yes, the County Redevelopment Commission has authorized American Structure Point to work with NDOT and to do the design of the roadway. So the roadway is due to the increased truck traffic and employees in and out of the park every day. So park is,
This one, there can be a light, correct?
Yes.
that is
Yes.
correct.
That's the nice part about it, because the other one, you couldn't put a light because of the light for,
Yeah, and this one, there'll be a traffic
Yep.
light.
they
Yes.
go about 60 through the.
If you've tried to leave Park One about 5 o'clock through the week, and make a left-hand turn, it's pretty dangerous.
Gas
Yeah.
station kind of congested.
When do you hope to have it started and finished?
We'd like to go to bid in the springtime, Commissioner, and have a construction next summer would be the goal.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 2023-24 and 2023-25.
Second,
A motion and a second to approve both resolutions. Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
yes,
Mr. Henry.
Yes,
Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you.
thank you.
Next, we have department heads, elected officials.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Hanser, Chief Probation Officer. I wanted to come in and give the Commissioners a couple updates on some criminal justice matters that we have currently going on with the county. First of all, we want to again thank the Commissioners for helping to fund in late September the Credible Messenger Program. The Academy for Transformational Change came in. We were able to identify and get 50 community members from all walks of life to come in and get trained for 3 days on a specific program meant to help train them to like kind of become mentors and connect with folks in the community. But there was also a piece to it that was kind of new to me, was about developing social capital in the community. So kind of what I've seen throughout my career is that a lot of times we have a lot of great resources here in Delaware County, employment, educational opportunities, a lot of good nonprofits doing good work, but everybody's been fairly disconnected and kind of doing things in silos, if you will. And really this training was really eye-opening about how we can get folks in the community to act as the middleman, if you will, to get kids and families that are kind of disconnected, they're struggling, and there's a lot of that going on in the community right now, get them connected with the help and resources they need. So we had some community members, we have people from different social service agencies, Muncie Community Schools, some of them are here with us today, nonprofits, we have some folks, Mr. Hargrave from Real Black Excellence is here today, and he brought a number of folks from his organization as well. So we were pretty enthused about that. It really was pretty inspirational training overall. Good to see. We have a lot of people in the community that want to get involved and get down to addressing the problems that we have. And so it was very good and very encouraging to see that. So that being said, there's some next steps, and we're going to start working on. And I don't know, Neil Kring is a local pastor that's kind of involved at the street level with a lot of outreach in the community, and he might be able to speak about some of the next steps that a core group is going to take. So really, thanks again for the support from the commissioners on bringing that training to the community. I think it's going to be a great benefit to Delaware County. Next thing I want to give an update on is I ran into Shane here this morning from the IRAX program, and I didn't know he was going to be here, and he kind of explained what he was here for today. And I just want to reiterate again how impactful the IRAX program has been in the criminal justice system here in Delaware County. We could not have brought a better organization or a force multiplier, as I like to use, to kind of use the military terminology, because this IRAX program has helped specifically the probation department tremendously. I think I've talked about it before where, if we had an individual under probation supervision that was incarcerated, they came out of jail, they want to go to treatment, they're in active addiction, I would have to have officers sometimes spend half a day just kind of dealing with one client, calling around to the different treatment entities around the state, trying to find a bed, trying to make sure insurance worked, trying to see if, they kind of specialize in methamphetamine abuse versus opiate abuse and all this kind of stuff. And IRAX handles all of that for us. So essentially what IRAX has done for the probation department, it's like we got, 5 case managers that came in and started working in our department without any cost to us or any additional cost to the county in that manner as far as hiring new staff. The coordination between the jail and the community side's great. They're working great in the jail with the sheriff's department and really have integrated themselves very well into the system. So I certainly would give my unequivocal support for IRAX to continue in the county. We just had a little meeting over at the Horizon Center last week for the public defenders around the region to come. And, more than like numbers and statistics, I've seen clients who I thought would be dead or in long-term incarceration being very successful right now. So that's very encouraging to see. And we hopefully keep up IRAX locally and keep supporting them. Then the last piece is the Local Justice Reinvestment Advisory Council. That's the JRAC. It's kind of a new thing that came about in 2022. JRAC, there's a state level JRAC, like one of the Supreme Court judges and the state officials. They have a state version, and then each jurisdiction has their own local version. It's made up of 9 statutory members. It's the main players: chief public defender, prosecutor, sheriff, chief probation officer, community corrections director. Commissioners are represented on that board by Commissioner Riggin, council members, and so forth. And really the goal of the JRAC, what we worked on the past year and a half or so we've been in existence, is the first thing we did was develop a system map for the local criminal justice system, which a lot of people don't realize how complicated it is. I brought that system map, a printed version, to the council budget hearings. I think many of the council members were really kind of alarmed to see how complicated and big the criminal justice system is. So it gives a good perspective there. The other piece is to set the criminal justice priorities for the local jurisdiction. So is there an agreement among all the players of what our priorities are in the criminal justice system? Certainly, we've working on some issues. Mental health is a big one right now, as the commissioners well know, and are taking steps towards addressing. So appreciate that. Would encourage continue to address the mental health issue. Guns and gangs, obviously our credible messenger program, some other initiatives we're doing. We're trying to get community involvement at that level. And we also requested some technical assistance from the state, offered free technical assistance from the Center for Effective Public Policy to kind of come in and help us gear our criminal justice system more towards implementing evidence-based practices and kind of, instead of just kind of thinking like people think, I think this would be best or that would be best, and obviously there's going to be some disagreements on some details or a way to implement things, but to really look at, let's be most effective with the money we have, let's be most effective with the resources we have, and how can we kind of address these issues that we're facing, challenges in the criminal justice system in kind of a more holistic way instead of just, through one lens. So that's very important, and the JRAC, local JRAC will keep working on that. So that being said, a lot of the things we're working on right now are much more community-based. I think, that's an evidence-based practice, much like with the peer recovery support folks from the IRAX program. Ultimately, kind of foundationally, neighbor helping neighbor, community helping each other is a huge piece to getting a handle on these issues we're facing. So we have a criminal justice system, we'll use it when we have to, but really we need to also equally look at, you know, the support side and really getting the community supports in for our folks who need it in the community. So we're very encouraged and want to thank the commissioners again for being a part of that and understanding like this is a multi-level, multi-system approach. Mr. Bookout was just up here and the folks, Mr. Hargrave and some of the Real Black Excellence folks have some property they were encouraged. I mean, this is a economic development. So I connected, you know, two groups you normally wouldn't think would be connected, but was able to get Bookout and Hargrave connected and they could start talking. So really, I think that's the way we kind of get, make some direction and make some progress on some of these issues we're facing. So I don't know, Neil, would you like to just kind of tell the commissioners about the next steps we're planning on?
Yeah, we want to thank you as a group again for helping us. We were able to give 25 individuals stipends to go through this training because many of them had to take off work and that helped to compensate and motivate them to not just attend the training, but also they were not losing out very much on wages as well. So we had approximately 25 individuals who have criminal justice experience themselves. They've been locked up in the past, and as well as community stakeholders, mental health service agencies, the schools. I mean, much what Jeff mentioned. And one of the things that we're doing now to kind of move that work forward is to take maybe 10 or so folks into a sort of like deeper dive into training on how do we take the things that we learned during those 3-day trainings and actually put it into practice in the community. And the Academy for Transformational Change will be continuing to work with us and do the coaching. We'll be doing it in collaboration with another city here in the United States. Muncie is like the smallest place where they've ever done this. So we will be likely paired up with a city in Maryland and going through that sort of cohort together and learning together. And then we will practically do some things, like we've already had some conversations about some kids that coming up are going to be released from incarceration, and how we as a community members can come around those kids and support them. You know, and just try to find like different options that might be available for them. So that has been a big thing. I think while we were there at the training, I thought this is maybe one of the most diverse and multifaceted groups that I have ever been a part of when we were there. And we are trying to do the work of figuring out how do we work together. And there's a lot of challenges with that, you know, because we're used to kind of operating within our own little spheres of influence. And we believe that if we could leverage ways of working together as a group, then we could really see some things happen at a street level that we have probably not been able to see so far. So, so we're excited to do that. And there's a lot of motivated people who want to be a part of this type of work. And we're all learning together, like, how could we actually do this? So we are currently trying to seek some funding for some continued cohort training, which will it would be a similar thing. We're just trying to compensate individuals for the time that they would invest in it. It'll be a 12-week cohort. We're looking for somewhere in the range of $10,000 to try to provide the same sort of incentive for participation and the time that people will have to take away from work to be able to do this kind of stuff. But we believe that it is well worth the effort because we've already been hearing stories of some individuals who've been engaging with kids at a real informal level. I think even one person who came to the training who stepped in on a situation, pulled a kid away from, I think really from shooting someone, and took him out to pizza, sat down, had a conversation. And this was completely on him. This was not like something that we had organized together. But he's just thinking about these things. And so we're also thinking about, okay, how do we do this? How do we do this safely? How do we do this in a way that really promotes the health of the community and individuals? So, again, we really appreciate your support for that. Stefan, would you be interested in coming up and sharing at all about your experience in the training? Yeah, please.
It will go out on Facebook, so. All right. Well, greetings, everyone. I wasn't really prepared to speak
Sure.
about this. I appreciate so much the Credible Messenger program and the training because, and I'll just have to, you pardon me, I'll just have to be me. And if it's not appropriate for here, then you'll excuse me for not knowing the ways of how it goes. But I appreciate the burden or the thrust of it. If I understand right, obviously you supported this endeavor, and I think that's wonderful. And the coming together. I'm speaking specifically for Black people now. We're Real Black Excellence. We are in a situation where there is a lack of community. And this is what we feel is the issue, just from my organization. Being together with the Credible Messenger training and seeing the concern of others is wonderful. It's enlightening. However, we need to address the baseline issues of the lack of community, the lack of the fundamentals that make up community, which create the problems. So there's no problem working together and doing our best, but it's more oftentimes like grabbing leaves of problems rather than getting to the root of the problem. It's like handing someone tissues when really the problem is a cold, like they don't. Tissues are not the resolution. And so I hope I'm making sense to everyone. But in the Credible Messenger training, there is definitely an attempt to get together, an attempt to work together. And for that, I am very thankful. I'm grateful for all of what's happening. We have programs where we need our young men and young women to work together and to even know the fundamentals of community. And I think at that grassroots level is where the success is going to be. And that's what we're engaging in, trying to work in training and all those things. I thank you for your time. I apologize, I wasn't anticipating speaking, but I'm glad to be
Well
here.
said.
And thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Jeff, before you sit down, I do have a question. I was able to stop in for about 15, 20 minutes. I was kind of between meetings. But the name of the company that came to town, because I was so impressed with the leaders that they sent.
Yeah, so Academy for Transformational Change is who
So-
facilitated the training, and they've
Someone
been
wants to
around.
look it up.
Yep, and this was an entity, they came to our attention through the State of Indiana Office of Court Services. There's a Youth Justice Oversight Committee group that works out of Indianapolis. That was, and Credible Messenger was one of the evidence-based programs that the state of Indiana said, we support, this training specifically.
Yeah.
So that's why we're able to bring them in. And we really had, commissioners, our JDAI program out of juvenile, City of Muncie, Ball Brothers, I believe. We were able to cobble together the funding to host it and bring it here from a number of sources. So I think that really speaks to the community and officials within their understanding and validating that we understand this is something we really need if we're ever going to get a handle on some of these more tougher, like criminal justice related public safety issues. It's really bringing the public into public safety, which is crucial. I mean, it just can't be professionals or organizations. The public has to be involved in public safety.
And I think one thing I heard, and maybe it was another meeting, but the third generation, we've got to stop that generation.
Right, and this is very much geared towards breaking those cycles: poverty, neglect, abuse, crime, like that. It's entrenched in the community in different aspects. And so the social capital piece, again, for me was really eye-opening, because it's about utilizing, like I said, Brad Bookout and economic development piece, utilizing that, because these public safety issues hit on all those. It's economic development, it's public safety, it's quality of life, it's functions of government and the role of government interacting with citizens. So it's very important we be very cognizant and kind of work all in unison on those things. So,
Thanks for your,
yeah, thank you.
Thanks to you, and thanks to you gentlemen as well for everything you're doing for the community. We appreciate it.
Tommy Humber, Delaware County Highway. Commissioners, we got 3 vehicles they're old. We've taken all the parts off of them. I need permission to take them to the scrapyard. One of them is a Gradall. It's a 1991 Gradall. It was purchased in 1997. We have removed all the cylinders, anything we could use on our other Gradalls. The other two items are two 1990 GMC single axle top kick dump trucks. They were purchased in 1990, new. We removed all the parts. There's nothing left to them. There's nothing there. So we wanted to see if we could scrap those. Also, we have a couple hot box tops that have no serial number, no title. And we want to see if we can get permission to scrap that stuff to get off the lot.
You're just gonna take it to the scrapyard?
Yeah, yep. It's stuff that was stormwater. When they came out, they talked to me about getting rid of it. You know, we were taking parts off of it. So we went ahead and just took all the parts off and everything that we can use. There's really nothing left but a shell. So I just need permission to take them to the junkyard.
So there should be a motion to permit him to do that based on the fact that they have no value anymore, to get rid of them.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King? Yes. Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Sarah will get the insurance numbers, so remove it from insurance.
I got them.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Foster, Building Superintendent. Update on the roof out the Justice Center. Started obviously last Thursday. I was out there last night, completely have all the shingles tore off of it, and have started. And I talked to him this morning. They're gonna go full force on reinstalling it today. He said Wednesday, but we'll just say hopefully by the end of the week they'll be done. So I'll give you an update, but everything's going good. They're keeping everything cleaned up, and so.
And
I've
he
had
did
no
say
issue.
he'd come back and roll that yard for us.
Yeah, we'll take care of the yard, the sidewalks and different stuff like that with the debris, so, but everything's going as planned.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
update.
Mhm.
Any other department heads or elected officials?
Shane, do you want to talk?
Sorry, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to interject when it wasn't my time to speak. My name's Shane Earhart, and I am the program director for the Delaware County IRAX program. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners for their support and their continued support for our program. Obviously, want to thank Jeff. Probation Department has been a huge supporter of ours throughout the time that our program has been here in Delaware County. I would like to share some information with you commissioners today about what our program's done since our inception in July of last year. Since July of last year, Delaware County IRAX has supported 1,879 incarcerated individuals. Through those 1,879 individuals, we provided 14,881 one-on-one engagements. Those are engagements that are in reentry, group engagements, and one-on-one engagements inside the jail and in reentry. Delaware County IRAX has assisted in 206 incarcerated individuals being released to treatment, either through pretrial services or through post-conviction services. So the main part and the meat and potatoes of this for the commissioners is we have provided 262 community referrals to our past community team through Jay County Drug Prevention Coalition. The current caseload size of our community team is 61. And through the last year, we have provided 1,263 community engagements. The reason that's important is because those community engagements wouldn't be possible without the funding that we received from the Delaware County Commissioners last year. Our program is ever developing and it's brand new. It's still in its infancy stages, but to show some growth through our program, the first 6 months, our program had an average successful completion percentage of 21%. That is 21% of the individuals that were released from the Delaware County Jail were still active in our program 30 days after release. The next 6 months has shown an increase to 53%. So we have had a 32% increase over the last 6 months in people that are staying connected after 30 days. We have no reason to think that that number is not going to continue to grow as our program evolves and as we add more things that are going on inside the jail. So today, we're asking that the commissioners renew and extend the funding that we received last year to support our community peers in community reentry and community engagement. And then we are also asking that the commissioners renew our lease for the office space that we were accommodated and afforded last year.
Oh,
What did we give last year, 50,000?
Yes, sir.
50, yeah. I think we could find that, surely.
I have a question, Jane.
Yes, sir.
I received a contract, from some attorney, I think, for the state or somebody, for the 50,000 that IRAX or somebody pays to us. Is that your group? It was a digital signed contract.
So
I
that
tried to
comes
print it
from-
out and I lost it, so.
That comes from Mental Health of America, Indiana, and Indiana Forensic Services.
Okay.
I can reach out to the Vice President of Indiana Forensic Services and have them resend that. I don't get that contract, that goes directly to you.
Okay. Yeah, could you, because it needs to be printed out so we can make it a part of the record. And
Sure.
I've sent a couple emails and I haven't gotten a reply yet, so if you could get a hold of them and send it to me. I
Absolutely.
mean, we're
will.
happy to sign it and the commissioner approved it. We just don't have a copy of it for our records.
I understand, yes. I'll make sure that you receive a copy.
Okay, thank you.
So is that additional money or?
Well, that's money that goes to the sheriff's office for the work that they do. It's something that has been done. You guys approved it at the last meeting or two
Yes.
meetings ago.
Yeah.
And I've been chasing my tail to try and find a hard copy for Denise, so she stops bugging me, along with all you guys, so.
I think Sarah reached out and asked for that too, and I sent an email out last week, and Jamie Whitaker was out of the office. He was traveling to Wisconsin or something, so I didn't get a response. But I'll make a phone call today and ensure that you guys get a copy of that.
That'd be great. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get on Denise's good side.
I don't know that we can make a commitment on 50,000 until the first of the year.
I don't have a problem with renewing the lease,
Please.
but can you come back after the first of the year? We can discuss the 50,000.
Absolutely.
You want to make a motion to renew the
I'll
lease?
make a motion to renew the lease.
Second,
We have a motion to renew the lease with IRAX in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Reagan,
yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Any other department heads or elected officials? Okay, we'll go to the payment of claims of $1,753,079.28, and the payment of ARP claims at $236,307.50.
So move.
Second.
A motion to pay the claims in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. All right, we have some people signed up. John, could you go over the, there was a public hearing on the solar ordinance Thursday. Can you kind of explain the process from this point forward?
Sure. The public hearing on the solar ordinance for amendment to the zoning ordinance, which is really what this is, an amendment to the zoning ordinance. The first reading of the zoning ordinance amendment is done at the public hearing of the Plan Commission for zoning ordinances and amendments to the zoning ordinance, even for when you make an amendment or a change in zoning for a piece of property. That first hearing is at the Plan Commission level. The second hearing, which is not a public hearing, comes to the commissioners for the commissioners to either adopt, modify, or send back to the Plan Commission with some suggested changes. Those are your three options, I believe. So the second hearing, once we get the official document from the Plan Commission, which we haven't received yet, I haven't seen it, and I don't think any of you have received it, there has to be a formal order or notice from the Plan Commission that it's been approved, comes to the commissioners, and then the commissioners can consider it at their public hearing meeting for the second reading, which is not a public hearing.
Very good. Okay, first, everyone will have 3 minutes to speak. Can someone keep time, please?
Yep, I got it.
Mr. Rick Yentzer?
Rick Yentzer, newsman and author. There's plenty to talk about today, especially here and last week with the solar ordinance. I, for one, believe in clean energy, and I'll disclose that my family represents the solar industry. We need to look at other methods to power up, given that coal and gas are fading. As far as the project today, that new entrance and a new stoplight out on McGuire at Park One. I didn't hear how much taxpayers are going to, be spending on that. I thought it was $2 million. And I'm not sure of the source either. And I would remind this government on Indiana Gateways, you have posted a $99 million debt for taxpayers over the next 20 years, mainly from that jail, which you're just putting a roof on now after a couple of years of redoing the school to a jail. I think you need to take a better look now at these buy or build, operate, and transfer agreements that seem to be causing some governments problems. There's a group that go out, build public buildings, get money from the taxpayers, and the government signs off on it. And again, I don't know what all was involved in renovating that school and building the jail out, but I don't think taxpayers should have to be liable for repairs just a couple years after the project. There was something else about the jail that I wanted to remind history of about 40 years ago. When this project first started across the street, there was a Republican commissioners and Republican mayor that started this project under the threat of a federal court. During that time, parties changed, and the problem was that we spent nearly $80 million on this property over here that was given away to the city, which the city gave away and then gave somebody else even more money. And as Dick Amber would always say, if that's not a squander, I don't know what is. So again, I would hope that government does a better job of spending our money and making it last. Because, you know, there's thousands of taxpayers this week are going to pay higher taxes. Thank you.
Next is Kelsey Morris.
I need to state my address, this type of meeting, so.
Just your name's fine.
Okay, I'm Kelsey Morris, and I reside in Albany. This is ballsy to get up here for me, so I'm gonna try to keep my emotions aside, because clearly emotions have not helped us in this matter one bit. So I'm coming to you today with some cold, hard facts. I spent my time over the weekend to meet with Tom Griffey, who is the Modoc Town Board President. He knows his facts, and I urge you all to reach out to him. These are some bullet points from our discussion. The town benefits in no way from their project. Hooking up their town to the panels was not an option. The electric that Modoc produces is now sold to 7 different companies already. In the end, Tom finally got $100,000 from the company, and that's only enough to put in an account to help drop the residents' sewer bill by $7 to $10 a month for the next handful of years. His taxes have gone up, and his property value has gone down. Since then, he has been to court with this company over 3 times over several different issues. He feels that the project feels unstoppable in the Modoc area. There's even officials in Randolph County that want solar so bad that they are buying land in southern Randolph County so they can turn around and add more panels to it. Modoc is on the southern U.S. electric grid, the same grid as the southern half of Delaware County. Northern Delaware County is actually on the northern U.S. grid. So this would only open the floodgates for solar to take over our entire county, especially when you moved it from 2% to 20% farm ground. My suggestion is, since you guys scratched the good neighbor policy, can you work out a way to where you as our county and our representatives arrange an agreement with non-participating landowners so they can benefit in some ways? Such something to reconsider. Contrary to what is believed, farmers involved with their farms would not get a check from the solar company until the company starts making a profit. Each company might be different, but this is a fact and can be in contracts that try to come into Delaware County. A new farm in Randolph County was recently started, only to stop after installation of the poles only to stop after the installation of the poles. So if you drive by it, it looks like toothpicks just up in the air right now because the whole project is on pause. Why? Because the panels were rejected by U.S. Customs once they arrived here from China. No timetable on the completion of that one, but there's a field of weeds, mud, and steel poles not creating a dime of profit for the farmer or the town. The jobs they created were not always what they were promised. They did a nice job to hire from temp services with Express though. So far from the top dollar jobs promised to locals, now there are 2 to 3 jobs that mow and trim around the poles. My suggestion is 2 to 20%. That's enough to put businesses and agriculture out of business. All for the benefit of hiring 2, 4, 6 people as techs for these solar panels. Do you really want to shut the doors of Reynolds John Deere equipment, Anderson's? My husband works at the grain terminal in Oakville and Dunkirk. That's enough to put a significant negative impact on businesses in Delaware County who pay the tax money around here.
That's 3 minutes.
That's your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Please reconsider this, guys. The people you are about to shake hands with and sign papers with are only out for themselves.
Jason Malk?
Good morning. So I want to talk a little bit, and this isn't a flex by any means, but I have a superpower, and everyone else has the same superpower. It's your circumstances. It's your frame of reference. I was brought to ag due to my father that passed to pancreatic cancer, and I am not a perceptive guy. I don't really care what people think about me, if my truck's dirty or whatever like. And 3 years later, unfortunately, my uncle on the other side of the family passed from a brain tumor. So I'm here with Uncle. Got a lot of people here that form the family, and when in this confusion of what am I doing, I started experimenting with farming, and I'm getting on this thing that Elon Musk called X now. It was Twitter. But now I'm one of the most followed farmers in the world, and I get the privilege to keynote speak for the USDA about every state in the United States. And I'm not an advocate. I get offered all the time to sell out and be sponsored by people in industry. Why people care to listen to me is I look at the response. When I change one variable, how does that change the other crop, the animal? And through this journey the last 7 or 8 years, I've collaborated with people to develop farm systems, technology, to empower what we can do with the land. And the problem with the United States agriculture or government is we reduce everything down to one thing. We try to maximize it. Right here, we're arguing about our tax base. So if it's the money, then what can we do with our land that isn't going to replace the water infiltrating into the soil, creating the soil that's going to feed our families and future generations? And I ask you, if you're willing to give up all this land, are you willing to have your your grandson be last in line at the food line when food is scarce in years to come? And I think it's a challenge. I think it's a travesty to think that this is the best use of our land. I think we can do so much. And even though I may seem like the local idiot at the coffee shop, sometimes it's these things that I do. There are people in the world that listen. I've consulted farmers in every state. They're doing fantastic things, and we can do so much more with our land. So I ask you to have a little bit open mind here and think about the response that one decision would do to, as Kelsey talked about, the Johnson Oil, the AgBest Co-op, all these local businesses that rely on the agriculture industry to support them and their families. Think about this long-term, because I know that this will, once the subsidy dollars are depleted, that there'll be something new.
That was your time, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Next is Cody Light.
Hello, I'm Cody Light. I'm also from Gaston. I'm not a real great public speaker, but I'm here to talk. So I'm a first generation farmer. I think probably out of you three commissioners, one of you knows how hard it is to farm, especially when you're starting from nothing. I didn't have grandparents to help me. I've started with nothing. I took some points from our Delaware County Comprehensive Plan. In 2017, we had 167,000 tillable acres of ground. One of the parts of our plan is to preserve rural character. This comes word from our plan. Ensure that land use regulations protect the county's agricultural natural resources. I don't think 35,000 acres does that. Over 70% of Delaware County's land is tillable, and agriculture, a market value of $100 million, makes it one of the most important economic engines for this county. And I have some numbers too that I'm going to go over of jobs that was put out by Hoosier Ag Today in a report put together by Leanne Hart of Hancock County. She took all 92 counties of Indiana and what the the job creation is for all those 92 counties. And it also includes induced jobs where the agriculture multiplies that. In 2022, our yield was basically 185 bushel an acre on corn. At $4.50 a bushel, if we took half of that project, 17,500 acres, that's $14.5 million. And these prices dropped back in February. Corn was $6 a bushel. Think about that number. It's 3.2 million bushels of corn off 17,500 acres. Soybeans is 58 bushel an acre from last year's yields. That's $13 million at $12.75 a bushel. Prices have come down. In this report that is called Feeding the Economy, it was put together and posted on Hoosier Ag Today in May of this year. Delaware County, total jobs created from agriculture is almost 14,000 jobs. Total wages, $656 million comes from agriculture. This is the most astonishing thing. When you compound all this together, it's $2 trillion. I will gladly send you this report of 17 pages.
Was that time, John?
Yep, that was time.
Thank you.
You could, if you can give a copy of the report to our secretary, we'll take a look at it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Kathy Kirtley.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Kathy Kirtley. I'm from Gaston. I'm pretty sure you all didn't want to hear anything about industrial solar today, and we sure as heck have better things to do too. But here we are, having to continue to deal with this debacle. The study committee that you created was a great compromising effort of minds and ideas. They worked for 10 months evaluating massive amounts of data to come to their conclusions. It was following a prerequisite set forth by the CAFO committee of a few years ago. Ms. Moody recognized then how precious our rich farming heritage is, and that was held at the forefront of the decisions of the CAFO committee. Presently, 1,800 acres of proposed solar projects has brought 100 plus angry landowners to these commissioner meetings for 2 years. Now imagine 20 times that many affected citizens if 35,000 acres are desecrated. That's almost a quarter of our whole county. If you continue forward with this, you'll be legally and financially burdening the county residents, yourselves, and future commissioners. I'd really hate to be in your shoes when property values are lost across the county and numerous lawsuits start filing in. You can definitely expect the aggressive developers to apply for utility provider status and then be able to claim eminent domain on anyone's properties. This has already happened to thousands of landowners in Missouri. It's recently been applied for here in Elwood, Indiana. Blatantly siding with foreign developers over us residents of our county shows the true intentions of the Planning Commission, Mr. Henry, and Ms. Bowen. Instead of taking the considerate time to study the reasoning, in a matter of minutes, they toss these reasonable ordinance changes literally in the trash without discussion. The final nail in the coffin was destroying the good neighbor policy. Absolutely shameful. Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself." I think that says it all. We have record of what has been presented to you in the past 2 years. And by siding with Commissioner Henry, not only jeopardizes future political careers here in Delaware County, but also marks the genesis of what could be a potential federal Fifth Amendment lawsuit. Your governing jobs are not easy, but we respect any effort by you to admit that mistakes can be corrected. I
Your
want to
time is
close
up.
in
Your time is up,
saying,
ma'am.
please have the Planning Commission do their homework and simplify this by passing a community scale only solar ordinance.
Thank you.
Please.
Next is Brandon Petro.
Brandon Petro from Gaston. I want to address the gutting of the recommendations of the Solar Study Committee, which they have so painstakingly arrived at over the past year, specifically in regard to the property value guarantee. Firstly, with a very contentious issue from the start, the appointing of the study committee and the respect for the recommendations squarely places the responsibility of the result on the shoulders of the citizens because their peers came up with the recommendations and they came up with a reasonable way of moving forward. But to so easily disregard the work of the Solar Study Committee and then to recklessly modify the recommendations on a whim puts the burden of the fallout of this issue squarely back on the shoulders of the county commissioners. I have to tell you, politically, it was a poor move. It was poorly thought out, ignoring a large portion of your constituency and basically sending the message to hell with you. I'll do as I please. I've been in Delaware County all my life. I bought my first piece of real estate when I was 17 years old, a 15-lot mobile home park. I've been building houses all over this county ever since. Me and Brad Bookout used to stake out houses beside each other in Farmington Edition. I know real estate. My livelihood has been real estate. Perhaps the largest investment a person will ever make is their home. Location and what surrounds your home undoubtedly, without question, affects the value of your home. That is undeniable. Before me this morning in this stack, I have study after study, objectively done, meeting the criteria of the universal standards for professional appraisal practices, done both by experts in the field and done by universities across this country that demonstrate that large-scale solar operations do negatively impact property values. That's without question. The larger the capacity of the project, the larger the number of the acres, the greater the impact on home values. The closer your home is to the installation, especially if it's abutting the installation, the negative impact increases. Most, if not all of these studies only consider properties abutting solar fields on one side. The solar fields that we have proposed in Delaware County will engulf homes entirely on three sides. Studies show that depending on the variables, homeowners can expect between 6 and 28% loss on home value with an average of 16%. And the solar companies know it. That's why they fight property value guarantees. They often cite a flawed study, meeting no professional standards. And they're in cahoots with this company. It's like a fox in the hen house. In fact, in this same stack, I have before me example after example where the solar companies go in and preemptively pay the loss for property values. And I want to tell you something, there is a way to move forward. Pulaski County, I have it right before me. They have a PVG ordinance that respects the public, that respects their homes, and still offers a way to move forward. You know, I don't like to be the first to do anything because then you get the mistakes. We have the opportunity to take advantage of the lessons that others have learned. Let's not do away with the PVG.
That's 3 minutes,
Let's
sir.
write a good one. Let's be an example to surrounding governments, to surrounding communities. Let's get it right. Let's get our feet wet. Let's not dive in head first and drown.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Which county was that?
And I'll give you anything you want.
Thank you, sir.
It's excellently written. Excellent.
All right. That's it on the, people who signed up. Entertain a motion for recess.
Is there any of the farmers sitting in here that signed the lease? Is there anybody that is a family member to somebody that signed the lease in here? Because I'll be honest with you, to stop the solar, stop signing the leases. Because there's where your big problem is. Yeah, well, you know, this is one of the things. Sir, let me speak. Can I speak? Can I? See, this is one of the problems is we're trying, I'm sitting here trying to talk to you to find out some information because I'd like to see one of the leases. I've never seen one of the leases. No, I would like to. I would really like, because I would like to see, you know, we're talking about the acreage and how much it costs and the yield and all of that. This, to me, has become a money thing. You guys blame us for the money thing, but it's not my land I'm leasing. It's the farmer that's leasing the land.
Not ever here.
Well, that's why I asked that question,
They're not
sir.
gonna show up.
All right? I want you guys to, I'm not against any of you guys sitting out here. Cause you know, these leases was signed before I even heard anything about this. But what I'm saying is, these leases were signed by the farmers before we even knew anything about this. Now, you are right, it is our job to protect our community. Now, I agree with you on that. One of the things I would like to see, I'd like to see a lease. I'd like to see what I understand what my job is to do, but it's also, we have a lot of farmers in here, and we have some that's sitting back here in the back that probably know the farmers that sign the leases.
They're ashamed to come in. And it doesn't matter if that says we want to raise the village. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It matters what we're going to do to our public. You are here to represent your constituency. Here's the thing is, we want positive things for our county.
And I get that, and everybody had their opportunity to speak. I tried to do the same as you guys, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to speak, so I'm just, I'll make a motion to recess.
A motion to recess. I'll second it. We'll call Ed.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
No.
Ms. Henry.
Yes. We're recessed.